Wendigo was, in my opinion, not as strong as the pilot. So Wendigo starts out with a cold opening with boys camping in the dark. If you watched Glee, Finn is in it for about 3 seconds, and then all of a sudden you hear this rustling, you hear it getting louder and louder. It's a pretty scary way to open the episode. I think it's pretty well done. I think it's good that we don't see the monster yet. We see Sam bringing flowers to Jessica's grave, and that's a nice reminder of what happened in the pilot, and it also lets us know really how much Sam really did care for Jessica. Jessica is it. Jessica is the one that Sam loves. So it's just a nice emotional reminder of how much it kind of sucked what happened. And then he wakes up and it was a dream. It was a, well, nightmare. When he does wake up with a start, Dean notices. Like I said, Dean is the one that raised Sam. Dean notices any little thing that is different. He asks him about it, and he even asks Sam if he wants to drive, which, you know, if that happens, then Dean is either really worried or something really weird is going on, because Dean is complete like Nazi with his car. Dean or Sam says if they want to find what killed Jessica, they need to find their dad, because whatever killed Jessica was the same thing that killed their mom, and that's what their dad is hunting. They find coordinates in their dad's book, and it leads them to Blackwater, Colorado, and it leads them to this girl named Haley. Her brother was one of the guys from the opening scene, poses park rangers, and both of them, Sam in particular, are very good at the investigating part. She shows them a video that Tommy had sent about 3 days ago, and Sam looks at it and he sees this like black flash. I think this is a good character setup of how observant he is. They also look at newspaper articles, and they see that people are going missing every 23 years. So it's nice that they're telling you about the Wendigo in short spurts instead of telling you all in one like expository thing. They decide to go into the forest with Haley. She had said that she hired a guide to take her into the forest to find Tommy. And so they decide to go with her, and they open their trunk, and it is a freaking like entire arsenal. They have everything you can possibly think of and more. So they grab a bunch of things and they catch up with them and say they're going to go along. Guide is not very happy about that. I'm not sure why he's not very happy about that, other than I think he's probably skeptical about who they are. I like that they don't just go off on their own and try to fix it. They go with Haley and her brother and the guide. It shows their protective nature, both of them. Dean especially, but Sam and Dean are both very protective of people, and that's a nice character quality and character development moment. Dean is not dumb. He's very smart, but I think the perception that people get when they first meet him is that he's the dumb older brother, especially when he wants people to think that. He's very good at putting on that persona of dumb older brother, and he's not. He's very smart. He's very calculating. He knows what has to get done. But I think when he shows up and looking like he does, I think they automatically assume he's kind of just dumb. Like he's like, you know, a piece of hot meat and doesn't really serve a purpose. Haley asks who they really are, and instead of lying to her, which I thought he would do again, he's honest with her. That really surprised me, and it was a really just honest moment, saying that they're looking for their father and they thought he would be here and that's why they're there. Anyways, they go into the woods and they end up finding Tommy's camping gear, and it is ripped to shreds. And at that point, if I was Haley, I would be pretty much losing hope. But she's a surprisingly strong character. Supernatural doesn't write female characters very well, I don't think. Most of them end up being very annoying and basically want to just jump in bed with Sam or Dean. And most of the fandom hate the girls. There are a few girls that I like, and Haley is one of them. I think she's a very strong character, which is nice. Dean comforts her. Dean is, this is just just the first example of Dean being very good at comforting people, and I think that he got that probably from growing up the way he did with Sam growing up, because Sam is very emotional. He's not insecure, but he's very emotional, much more overtly than Dean is. Dean likes to hide his emotions. So he's had practice doing that with Sam, and it shows. So when they see the campsite, Sam and Dean figure out that it's a Wendigo. The guide wants to go out and hunt the thing. Sam completely goes off the deep end when the guide kind of goads him. So, I mean, really, the guide deserves whatever he gets from Sam because he's kind of acting like an idiot. I mean, that's expected, though. I mean, his girlfriend just died probably a couple days ago. But Dean definitely notices that Sam is acting differently than he's used to seeing from Sam. So he questions him about it, and Sam says he wants to leave the hunt to go find their dad. Sam does not ever leave a hunt. They don't leave a hunt unfinished. I can't even think of a time that they've left a hunt unfinished. And all he can really think about is finding Dad. That's where his mind is right now. I don't think his mind is really on the hunt, and it's showing. And Dean is really good at, I think Dean would be a really good social worker, to be honest. He's very good at listening to Sam and telling Sam what he needs to hear, but he also kind of brings him back to reality and says, but along the way, there's no reason why we can't hunt. You're not going to find Dad right away. Dean pulls out their dad's book and says that they have to help others. Most people aren't hunters. Most people don't know about these supernatural things. So how are they going to help themselves and save themselves? That's why they need people like Sam and Dean who know how to fix these things. And that's not something that is easily learned. So if you know it, you need to use that information. Sam asks why their dad hasn't called them and tell them where he is. And Dean says that helping people like Kaylee makes it worthwhile, and that Dad, a time will come when we find Dad, but right now we need to focus on helping other people. And I think that's wise of him. It shows a lot of maturity compared to Sam. I mean, Sam in the first season is 22, I think, and Dean would be 26. I mean, Sam's only a year younger than me, but boys mature at a much slower rate than girls do. So it just shows the difference in maturity between Sam and Dean. You are kind of brought back to the situation, and you hear the Wendigo, and one of his powers is mimicking other people, and he mimics Tommy's voice. And the stupid hunter guide thing runs after it, and he basically gets what he deserves because he didn't listen to Sam and Dean. He runs through these trees, and then all you see all of a sudden are these hands reaching down from the trees and grabbing him by his neck. So he grabs him and he snaps his neck, and he dies. Now that that's happened, Sam is in the moment and he wants to hunt and kill that thing. What you learn is that a Wendigo is was a man who, in a desperate situation, turned to cannibalism, like the Dahmer Party, continues the cannibalism. And over time, legend says that eating the skin of people, which is, can you imagine? Blah, it's just gross, gives them supernatural abilities. But anyways, they run through the forest, and Dean and Haley get caught. So Sam and Haley's younger brother have to find them, and Dean uses his M&Ms that he brought as a trail. That's how smart and resourceful Dean is. They end up finding him, and they also find Tommy, and he is alive, which is good. Dean uses a very interesting way of drawing the monster out, and that's by shouting at him and offering himself up as bait. And it's funny, but it happens a lot, and it's kind of reckless, but it works. It sets up how Dean is usually in the forefront of action. Not that Sam doesn't get into the action, but Sam is more in the background. He's usually the one that ends up having to take care of the injured people or the people that they save, and Dean is the one throwing punches. Sam can throw a punch very well. He just doesn't do it as often as Dean, and I think that's more of a Dean is the one giving orders, and I think that's him being protective of Sam. They shoot flare guns at the Wendigo, and you never really see the Wendigo fully, but when they shoot the fire at him, it's a nice combination of CGI and live action. It's pretty seamless. There's some that you can kind of tell, but it's pretty good. They tell the ranger station that they were attacked by this humongous bear, which is funny, but I mean, they can't really say that they were killed by some homicidal, cannibal. They'd be laughed out of the city. And here we come to the point that Dean always gets the girl. And poor Sam just always gets our thanks, but Dean's always the one that's getting the real praise. But it never really seems to bother Sam, so I guess that's how they work. Scoring. See, character development, I gave a 22 out of 22. I mentioned a lot of moments, but this episode really propels Sam and Dean on the path to save as many people as they can while looking for their father. So that was well done. Good balance between emotional pull and action driven. I also gave a 17 out of 17. While this is not my favorite episode, you cannot deny the emotional pull of Sam and Dean trying to save each other and trying to save Haley and her brothers while trying to dodge the Wendigo. Effective use of music. I gave it 2 out of 5. I know there's classic rock in this episode, but this is an episode that I struggle with remembering what songs are in which. Makeup and special effects. I gave a 7 out of 10. Again, like I said, there was some CGI issues that I could tell while they're driving. That really bothers me because you can totally tell they're behind a green screen. Season 2, I don't remember that, but Season 1 is really bad. Overall story quality of the week, I gave it 21 out of 27. For some reason, this episode never really does anything for me. It's not my favorite, but it's not the complete, it's not complete trash either. It's just kind of bleh. On repeat viewings, I kind of find myself checking the time to see how much time is left. Acting, 5 out of 5. I think Haley was really well done. Like I said, I think she was a strong girl. And Sam and Dean, I never have an issue with. Monster of the week, I gave an 8 out of 10. A Wendigo is kind of awesome, and it's one that not many shows do. I can only remember one on Charmed. But that's the only other time I've seen it. And it's a monster who is fast as heck and eats humans, so awesome. And contributing to season-long arc, I said 3 out of 4. Kind of the same thing I said about character development. It propelled them on their mission for season 1, is saving as many people as they can and killing as many evil creatures as they can. So